Hey everybody, my name's Cody and I'm a photographer. I've been doing it for several years now, and I've recently migrated my workflow over to a Mac. And something that I've noticed that bugs me is when I go to copy my files over, I get this dialog that says preparing to copy, right? Um, and I copy all my stuff to a NAS, and so that process takes even longer than if I were to copy it directly to the hard drive on my Mac. In some cases, that dialogue can sit there for a half an hour, maybe even longer, before it even starts copying the files over. Um, I look for other utilities online just to see what exists that might be able to bypass all this, make the copy process really easy and efficient. And while there are apps that exist, they're more complicated and more robust than what I need. And a lot of them are on like freemium trial type services. So I built an applet using shell scripts and Apple Automator in order to do this copy. And I'll show you what that looks like really quick here. So um, once you launch the applet, it's going to ask you to provide it some information. I just want to just note here that the way it works is whatever source you give it, it will copy every file it has access to recursively to whatever destination you provide it. It's not copying the folder structures over. So what you end up with is a flat file structure when it drops the files into wherever you're copying them to. And the reason I did this is because for most cases, when I'm copying from my CF Express card, for example, I have all these extra folders in here. I don't need them. I just need the files inside of them. And so what this will do is it will just scan through all the folders that it sees, pull out all the files that it finds, and drop them into whatever folder you tell it to put it into. I do not have to drill into any of these folders and select them in order to copy the files out. I just select the card at the top level and I'm good to go. And I want to point out too here the location that this dialog window plops you into is the volumes directory, which essentially is just showing you all of the different hard drives, network shares, SD cards, whatever that you have connected to the computer. And that's important because anytime you plug in a CF Express or SD card or external hard drive, it's going to be showing up as a volume on the Mac. So that's why it drops you here first. You, of course, can always just select it from the left menus or whatever. You can go to any folder, select it, and then continue. For this, I'm just going to select my CF Express card here and hit choose. Now it's going to ask me to provide the destination folder here. And I created a folder on my desktop, so I'm just going to jump there and just select that folder and hit choose. Now, the thing that gets really interesting is I'm sure like most of you, you're probably not deleting photos off of your SD card, before a shoot. You may have enough storage where you could have thousands upon thousands of photos on your camera, so you don't have to worry about clearing your cards consistently. And you just want to get the photos that you captured for maybe that day, or if it's a multi-day event, the past, maybe 2 or 3 days, whatever it might be. And what this dialog does here is it allows you to do just that. You're specifying a time frame and end days of what you want to get copied over from the source. And what it's looking at is the date created value here. So in this example, like let's say I did a photo session today. I want to copy the files off. Well, as you can see, I have like over 1,500 photos in this one folder. I just want the ones from today. To do that, I would enter 0 because 0 is today. 1 is yesterday, 2 is 2 days before, and so you just think about it in that context. So if I were to put 3 in here, it would capture everything from today, yesterday, and the day before. So it just kind of captured everything within that span of time. Now, things I have in here were done most recently from the 8th, 7th, the 6th, and so on and so on and so on. I have things that are back in March. I don't need these. I just want things that were created through these past few days here. So I'm just going to put in here just 7, just pick a number, and then I'm going to hit scan, and it's going to look at all of the files that are within that span of time, and it's going to give me a count of how many it found. And at this point, I'm going to click Start Copy, and a little dialog window appears. There's a little bug, so like that window just suddenly just disappears after the copy process starts, but the copy will continue to run just as normal. Um, if you see the beach ball on it, it just means that the script is running, and don't interrupt it. Just let it go. And what's happening right now, if I just kind of scroll down, we'll see, this thing is just like zipping files in here super quick. I didn't have to wait for any dialogues to pop up. I didn't have to, drag and drop. I didn't have to, you know, click, scroll, shift, click the next. I just popped open a window, hit a few details, and it just went. So now it tells me it copied all 187 files it found, had no duplicates and no errors. That's great. What this also does is, if I were to flip to this view here, you'll see the date created and date modified, all that stuff. It's the exact same as the source, and that's really important because when I copy the files over, I want them to retain all of that metadata because that's what helps it understand, what tape range to copy from and whatnot. So I just had it keep that at its destination when it plops the files over. Now, let's say I had accidentally deleted a bunch of files or whatever it might be from the target directory, or rather the destination directory. Um, all I need to do is just run the process again. Just select my source, and then I'm going to select my destination, and I'm going to put the 7 days back in there, let it scan, and it says again 187 files were found. Now it's not comparing source to destination. It's just looking at how many are in the source. When I click Start Copy, it's going to replace the files that were missing, um, and it's going to skip over everything else. So you are not doing a bunch of extra work just to make that happen. So I deleted a few hundred files, I think, or a few dozen files, not sure exactly. So we're going to let that run through, and once it finishes copying, it'll give us a quick summary of what it did. So here we have 108 files were copied, and it skipped 79. Again, no errors. Great. So this script here, like this little applet that I created, it again is built in a series of like shell scripts and Apple Automator for the front end. When you run it for the first time, you're probably going to get some kind of permission messages coming up asking you to allow the app to access things in Finder, maybe accessibility settings, things of that nature. And that's normal. Any new app you install, Mac is going to ask you to provide permissions to make sure the app can run. It's very locked down security-wise by default. So don't be surprised when you do see that. That's totally expected. But yeah, this is the applet. Hope you like it. If you want to provide feedback, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to hear any comments and feedback you might have, and hopefully this helps you speed up your workflow. And by the way, this applet can run pretty much anywhere. So you could literally have this applet sitting on like an external hard drive or something like that. If you transition between different computers for whatever reason, you could literally just, take this photocopy applet and copy it to any, folder, any destination, any drive, and you could just run it and it'll work. So you're not locked into having it as like any kind of installed app. It literally just runs a shell script. So it's super portable. It's pretty straightforward as far as as at least I think it is, and it just works. So hopefully this gets you guys through your workflows a bit faster, with less hassle. And you'd love to hear any praises, any criticisms. So feel free to reach out. Thanks so much.